Sorry about that. I'm Go ahead, Duty. What do we got in here? Witcher by Dan. Shoot. Welcome, everybody. Just popped in. Good morning. Good morning. Had to go do some customization steps on there. But y'all see, let me get my phone out so I can read chat too. It is barely the morning, but good morning. Let me get in here into my channel. What y'all are looking at is the inside of a deer pelt that's been bark tanning for only a day, believe it or not. Hey y'all. Get in here into my channel. Boopity boop boop. Sorry about the feedback. Heather's in here somewhere, I'm sure. If not, she may be in a minute. She wasn't feeling well a little bit ago, so. All right, y'all see it's starting to get color here, right? We're gonna do a process called scutting today. It's basically scraping the hide, after it's been in the tannin bath. And I'm going to show you what the tannin bath looks like, the tannin liquor. I think I did a good job with the tannin liquor. I'm glad to hear that. What happened? Somebody's sheep get hurt? Hide get hurt? Yeah, so here, this is the inside of a hide deer skin. And it's been in the tannin bath for 1 day, actually. And you see how brown it's already starting to get. But if you were here, you would see that it's actually quite, and I want to make sure I got the grain direction of the hair right here. If I'm scraping down, I don't want to be scraping against the hair grain because I'm trying to keep the fur. So I got my form I use for my curve beams here. I'm going to sand this edge a little. This is called scutting. It's removal of, pieces of excess tissue that tan faster than the actual hides. It used to be, there's an old term for it called whitening, because what'll happen as you pull is it'll look like you're getting, and I need to keep this. I don't have my PVC pipe actually would make a decent setup here for this, but you're just basically trying to get these subdermal layers of see, if y'all could see up close, you'd see the hide is being exposed. And I'm gonna get into why you do this in a second. You can see there's stuff forming down here. Partly because you need to get that tissue off, right? And partly because you need to expose the layer under it so it can soak in those tannins. And as you're doing this, I'm going to be wringing out the pelt, right? to get all of that moisture out of it from the tannin liquor, the bark bath that it was in, which, as I told y'all before, I made out of mimosa, right? So we're scraping away flesh here. Luckily, there's not much smell here. This was a really fresh hide, so if anything, it just smells like mimosa bark. And you can see that there's white being exposed there. That's actually a good thing. That's kind of what we want. We're going to go over this whole thing and we're going to wring it out. We're going to scrape off this stuff. We don't want our blade to be sharp or whatever we're going after it with today. You don't really want it to be sharp. Kind of dull is all right. When the hide goes into the bath initially, what is it? Bowl explosion. What's bowl explosion? What's that? Y'all know it's hard to think on your feet when you're doing all of this stuff. So you're squeezing out the hide, and the reason is that in the first days of bark tanning, if you're bark tanning, it's going to soak up a ton of those tannins. And I concentrated as much as I could. Get my draw knife out and use that a little bit. The back of that. I don't want it sharp, but the back of my draw knife is about perfect for this. These little wrinkles, if you were here, you would kind of see them a little more. You can see there's a little bit of a pattern to the coloration here. I'm squeezing water out too. And you want to tease it out too and pull on the leather as well. I'm going to be doing a lot of this tanning stuff for a little while. Also be doing woodwork at the same time. Also got some other stuff in the mix that's come through. A lot of stuff to do here at Dad's workshop. Bowl explosion. I'll have to check that out. I will have to check that out. So as I'm doing this, and I'm going to take my time doing this, hang out with y'all and read your chat. Oh, I had a bowl explode on the lathe and hit me hard. And oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is that Bill that said that, or is that Heidi on the Sheep's Workshop? Either one of y'all. I mean, I'm terribly sorry that happened. Yeah, it's very, it can be pretty dangerous there, right? So you can kind of see right here. This has to be scutted. Scutting is what they call this. SCUDDING. It's when during the tanning process you go to remove. Got a little bit deeper than I wanted right there. It's actually okay. You go to remove this kind of excess tissue that's still on there after fleshing. That was one of the parts of the pellet I was pretty sure it was compromised when I started this. I'm sorry to hear about that, Bill. Hope you're okay. Hope you're on the mend. You know, that those things can be extraordinarily dangerous. I mean, with the number of RPMs, right? Keep this hair lined up. Like I got the hair direction. Yeah, so as I'm pulling, I'm not going against the hair direction right now. I don't want to be yanking hairs out of the follicles. On this pelt, I'm trying to, on the grain side, which is the hair side, I'm trying to keep that hair. Looks like some tannin penetration did happen, and I think that probably happened as I teased it. When you're doing this, if you decide to do this, you see that right? That's why they call it whitening, because you're exposing lower levels. Is Heather in the house? She was kind of busy. Let me check and see if she popped in. Wes, everybody, welcome. Yeah, Heather's here. My other half. You put this up here. I want to work on that a bit. And then as you're doing this, my guy says to always be squeezing it and stretching it. Get all the water out of it because it's going to sop up more tannins. I'm going to show you how we're going to intensify the tannin bath as well. We're going to strengthen the tannin bath, the tannin liquor, so that we have a new, renewed, strong bath of tannins again, because it sops up in the early tanning process. You sop up so many tannins so fast, the bath gets depleted. So I had to look at pictures of the bath when I started, right? And then look at pictures of the bath when I just pulled this hide out. Now you see that white spot I just exposed was one of these schmutzy spots. That's going to get tanned very quickly when it goes back into a strong tannin bath. And that's why you're doing this. You're getting rid of this last like stubborn tissue that's hanging on there. Now, deer and other hooved animals have this special kind of a muscle under their skin that causes the skin to twitch when a fly lands on it. And some of that is hard to get off. But otherwise, the tissue should be removable, you know, all of this connective stuff down here. I'm going to show y'all a second what we're going to do to get a new strong tannin liquor, or actually we're going to use the other liquor. I'm going to pass it through a filter. We're going to add some bark. We're going to cook it again, reinvigorate it with new tannins, right? And then the hide's going to go back in there again. Yeah, there's some wow, go ahead. The short has 31. See, people love a fail, don't they, man? Crushing it with that short, huh? Yeah, people love to see that. It's kind of hard to swallow that the best videos are the ones where you hurt yourself and stuff. Hopefully it was worth that pain, you know. That's more views than any short I've ever had. So you should be super proud of yourself. Something tells me you got to be a little more rough on this stuff and not be so gingerly with it, like it's not made of glass. But at the same time, you don't want to ruin your hide. And right here, I got a little spot where I don't want to mess this up, but you got some dermis kind of coming off here. Chances are all the other parts here where it doesn't look like that, right, are all areas that need to be worked anyways, or they're already down to that layer. And as we scrape and work this, hide. I'm squeezing it out. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to brush the hair out too. But let me show you all the tannin bath. This was something that was told to me to do, is always keep the hair, like take care of the hair like it's your daughter, basically. $31,000 views. That's big. Shout out Shoop's Wood Shop. Shout out to all my members. Appreciate all of you. This is a members only chat, so you want to chat with these fine creators like the Shoops, who just dropped a pretty good video there, despite the injury that may have incurred as a result. If you want to talk to these folks, you got to become a member here. You got to become a member. Join today, not tomorrow. That's how we do it in America. You do it right now. Everything right now. Instant gratification. But you have instant gratification. You become a member right now, you're gonna get. I'm gonna bother you on here. We're gonna be very vocal about your membership. This is what we do here. Ooh, I'm losing hair. I'm losing hair off the hide. That's unfortunate. That was a big chunk that just came out. I guess that makes sense why that this is definitely not considered a beginner, and that's right in the middle of the hide too, so that's very concerning. I don't feel like there's much bacteria getting to this, so that must be a chemical thing. I'm going to be careful here. I don't want to be too rough with it. That could have been the comb I was using that did that. Do like what I do on my own head, comb it over, right? I'm just kidding. It's okay. You live and you learn, and next hide probably won't do hair. It'll just be buckskin style. Let's check in, because sometimes my phone doesn't show the chat. And I'll show you all what I'm doing over here. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are doing pretty good. Yeah, I paused it once and caught it breaking apart, says Bill. Heidi Shoop said hello. And Woodshed by Dan said, that's cool, Bill. And it is cool, but also scary. So let's be careful. Yeah, I'll have to check out that short. Have to do it. All right, let me show you what I got here and what I was advised to do. I'm a little discouraged because I lost some hair from my pelt right there. So I'm going to be a little more careful here. And I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip it so this side is kind of, I'm going to leave the hair alone for a little bit. Yeah, there's some chunks of it on the floor, which I'm not too happy about. All right, so this is a mimosa tannin tanning liqueur that I made by boiling mimosa bark, then concentrating it, then doing that again, right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this mimosa liqueur that I made, and I'm going to pour it into this pot that's right over here. You can't see it. I got a range set up in here. We're going to put that on max, and we're going to boil that with the old liquor and new bark. So it's going to be a stronger tanning solution, a stronger solution. I'm going to hesitate on doing those brushing of the hair right now. I don't think that's doing much good here. And as you can see, it is after one day, after the day in the pickling solution, right, which is actually supposed to be longer. It's actually kind of started to tan. It actually absorbed a bunch of the tanning solution. And so what we got to do now is we actually got to make more and stronger tannin solution. So here's my range. I'm going to take this little filter. Well, actually, I'll do the filter after because it's got bark in there. We'll pour this in there. We'll cook it until it's so we got a new revitalized tannin solution in here. Already smells like wood getting heated up. Got my 2 little leg pelts here too. Boopity boop boop. Back to the pelt. Forgot as I was dumping that out that I got 2 other little pieces in there that both need to be scudded. This one from the foreleg and the other one from the foreleg. Might be a hind leg, actually. I can't remember. Small deer. And I'm trying to keep the fur on these guys too, but if it's the same problem, it may be difficult. I think it may be more of an advanced technique to try to keep fur on there. A little bit different. Eskimos roll it up. I'm going to try doing that next time, I think. I'm squeezing these out. And then another thing it's easy for me to show with these is that when you have them, want to pull on them, pull on them, pull on them, stretch them, and crimp them. Stretch and crimp, right? That's going to break those proteins and the whatever it is that holds that leather together and makes it supple when you work it like that. And a lot of the leather you guys buy is going to be chrome style leather from very big tanneries that use chemicals. But the best kind of leather is leather that's done like this, you know, in this kind of process. You can see the tannins have started to work in there, but we got to scut this and get this stuff off so that we can put it back in a new invigorated tannin bath. Oh, Heidi, thank you so much for the gift. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. We love all the gifts here. Appreciate all those gifts. And we appreciate your gift, Heidi. Range is acting a little on the weird side. All right, I'm going to continue on with this. Like I said, all the people in the chat, check out those channels. Those are really good folks. Most of those folks are creators as well. So check out their channels. Check out that video that the Shoops are talking about where Bill gets a bowl thrown at him. And I will check it out as soon as I get done with this live. Sure, Heather's probably already checked it out from the inside. I'm going to keep this grain-wise here. You want to squeeze all the moisture you can out of this too. Y'all see that white that's being exposed? Kind of what we want to happen here. A little bit of a downer that I took that chunk of hair out on the back. I can put it in a lye bath and remove all the hair and get it down to leather, you know. But I want to try still to save the hair if I can. Makes warmer, right? We want warmer. We want that hair on there. Leather is warm, but fur is warmer, right? Yeah, come on, y'all. Double tap that screen and like this video. Appreciate you. I know it's a members only chat, so a lot of people are like, I can't even say anything. Yeah, I'm sorry. You do have to be a member to or a mod to be able to hang out. So if you're a mod, you can also comment. But definitely, if you're here and you're learning something, or this is the first time you've seen this and you understand you're kind of liking what you see, then definitely like the video. But yeah, we are a channel that favors our members. And I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna dry this pellet all the way, but I'm gonna hang this back up. It's pretty cool here today. Well, it's warm. I don't want the bacteria to get to it, but I got to cook this solution up and let it cool, and then I can get. I might be able to stick it down to what I have there, just to keep it in a bath so it doesn't start. Just a little bit of time out of that bath, it's going to start the bacteria that take the hair out start to work. They can work in almost any temperature over 40 some degrees. So they work straight from that follicle, and they basically are first thing they get out is that hair. Heidi, thank you for that gift today. Double tap that screen, like this video. Some of y'all would hang out in the gallery anyway, right? You probably wouldn't be in the chat. So, you know, like the video. Help me out. I will be making a video about my experience bark tanning a hide. Won't be an expert video on bark tanning. It'll be a video on my experience bark tanning. I can see how this would remove hair that you wouldn't want to remove, and how this would be like a necessity also to get those tannins back in there. You're squeezing out water. You got to get all that water out of there so it can reabsorb the tannins. And my understanding is early in the tanning process, it sops up tons of tannins, and so you have to replace them very quickly. So what I'm doing is that right now. I'm scutting the hide to get the flesh that I didn't get through the couple of fleshing processes that I went through. And at the same time, I'm also, it's getting the water out so that it now can sop up more tanning solution. Smells like the wilderness in here, man. This is not a knife. This is just a piece of wood that broke off when I was doing the curved wood, bent wood stuff. It's soft on that end and kind of shaped like a wooden knife. I'm using it to scrape here. It's called Scutting. Real thin right there. This is where it's difficult on the very edge. Oh, it's a couple of spots, dude. Couple spots. I might have to remove the hair off this hide. That's unfortunate. I really wanted to keep that. I think probably the only way you're going to be able to do it is do it like a furrier and roll it up. Or you got to use alum salts. And I didn't do that. I put it into the tanning bath. I did pretty much everything right to keep the hair, you know, according to the instructions I was given. Mike is making stuff. What's going on, man? Like is liked it. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Plywood. Tom is in the house. Welcome. We probably are in afternoon now. Yes, it is probably past noon here in the eastern section of the United States. Looks like my solution hasn't boiled yet. Seems like only part of that heating coil is working. I'm going to put it on the other burner. So yeah, I have some maybe easier to keep the fur on those little legs. Whoa. Oh, hello. All right. I don't like that. I wonder why that happened. Holy smokes, that burner is like real. My goodness. I'm about to end up with a shoop-like injury, even worse, burn injury up in here. It wants to slide on the burner. That's crazy. Not a problem in the house usually, but that burner definitely is working. Trying to think of something I can do to keep that from sliding down that burner. Whoa, boiling hot pot of water. That's no joke, man. Whew, scary. Oh, and I'm moving the bench. That's the problem. Let me put that like kind of on the floor. I think that's probably the best place for it. That's the problem. I'm moving the bench around and it's on the bench. I didn't even consider that detail. Great. That's not me blowing fire out. It's me blowing wood chips off there. Don't start a fire. It's gonna listen to me. All right, now I feel more free to do this because I was worried about that. Don't want that to happen there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Dad's workshop is always a work in progress here. So what I'm doing with that is I got to make more tanning solution because it sucked up so many tannins in the first day. This is highly recommended. I have enough in my bath left there. I can submerge it again until that tanning bath I'm making now, the concentrated solution with the new bark, is done. And then definitely understand what that dude meant about tanning hides is not paint by numbers, you know. The best video on this is one made by this girl that was in the show Alone. She talks about this process, which is part of the veg tanning process. My favorite guy's name is Skill Cult. He doesn't have any videos where he expressly talks about the scudding process, and that makes it a little more, there's more mystery about what you're supposed to do after you soak your hide for a long time in a veg tan. Is Terrific Tom in the house also, though? Just plywood? Y'all see how this white flesh is exposed? That's why some languages this process translates to, yeah, there's a lot of fur coming off. Big chunks of fur coming off. I'm still trying. I'm not gonna give up. That's why it needs to get back in that tanning bath almost immediately. All right. Wow, yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of chunks of hair coming out the back. I think this might end up just a hide, but that's okay. I want it soft and supple, so yeah, I might abandon the hair. We'll do like a lye bath in a little bit, but there's some chunks out of this back hide that like right there and right there. You see, and that wasn't there before. I didn't have that problem. It's coming out just like easily with my fingers here. Maybe that tannic bath was like a little bit on the alkaline side and not acidic. I think if you have an acidic bath, you're better off with that. I'm gonna roll this up and put it back in the tannic bath until I get done with that other solution. Y'all see some chunks of hair coming out too. It's unfortunate. Sorry, I got a. It's not fur, it's tan, and a lot of the people that do leather tanning, they don't do fur, so they kind of like talk about it like you're better off if you start not trying to keep the fur. All right, so we got the pelt here. I'm gonna squeeze out that stuff, all the water, so it reabsorbs. It reabsorbs again. Long process. I'm gonna put it in there kind of to keep it cool. It really is not getting anything from that. And down here on the floor, I won't bore you by showing that, but I've got a pot with mimosa bark and a bunch of the solution from the last tanning. Now, these are the legs here. I'm going to be working on several more of these. I got more of these here that I need to flesh and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the right way. Now, this particular area on a deer is particularly soft. The fur, if you can maintain it, is very soft. Obviously, that's a little tricky. So this this part of the deer's epidermis is really desirable, but most hunters will discard this part. They discard everything. They discard the whole hide. Don't even care about that. A lot of hunters are there just for the trophy, man. It's devolved to that, just a trophy situation. Hey, I'm good. Plywood said, and how is comical Calvin today? I'm comical as usual, Plywood. You know, Mike said he's having more fun than me. How's that, Mike? You're not having fun? Oh, yeah. If you're at work, then I understand. Yeah, I probably am. This is fun. Doing this wildernessy, crafty stuff. You know, that's why when the Europeans first came to the United States and they saw that the in Eastern Woodland Indians, that the women farmed and took care of, like, literally the women did all the crop raising, so the patches of corn and beans and squash, pumpkins, whatever, those were tended to by women, and then the women took care of the kids and the house, and in their case they had reed mat houses here in Virginia, and the men's job it was to go out and hunt and fish and gather, right? The Europeans laughed at that because that was like, um, those those type of roles were, first of all, a lot of men in Europe couldn't even hunt because it was limited to the aristocracy. Uh, Nobody was allowed to. There was no public land, and a lot of times even people who own land weren't allowed to hunt on their own land. So they came over here and saw that the whole job of the males was to hunt. They were like, man, they live it up, you know. We understand obviously that there's some perspective to that, but that's what their observation was, because to them that was leisure activity, and also limited to the most elite. Norm in the house, man. Welcome, Norm. Am I missing anybody's chat? I'm sorry if I missed your chat. Put it down there again. Copy and paste so I can see it. If there's something I need to see, y'all, I'm sorry. It's because my chat's way behind. I'm on my own like Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi. I'm on my own data here, running the live stream, and sometimes my phone is not getting the comments quick enough. So if you guys like, I apologize. You know I love y'all. I want to respond to everybody. There we go. That seems suited to do that really well. They have these things called twitch muscles. I didn't know this, man. Hooved animals have these twitch muscles under the skin that humans don't have. And these muscles, its job it is when there's a fly that lands on them, tries to lay eggs in its hide, the muscle makes their skin twitch. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. Not seeing the muscle, but seeing an animal like a grazing animal twitch when a fly lands on it, like their ear or their skin just kind of tighten up, right? The reason that chemical tanning evolved is for speed. So, you know, like everything else, it gets people found out they can make money off something, and they realize they can make a lot of money if they do it really fast. And they sacrificed quality and safety, especially of the environment, because when you're dumping various salts, metal, heavy metal, and light metal salts into a barrel, and then just dumping it in the water, man, you know, it ain't good. All right. You see, we kind of, it's like a refleshing Scutting, right? We're going to squeeze it out again. Squeeze it out because we want this thing to absorb more tannins. I'm doing as I was told to stretch the hide out here. Pull on it, tease it. You can see it's kind of got a whiter color back again to it. It's gonna tan that again. Hopefully, when we get it back in the full concentrated bath, and we'll do the other skin before I move on to woodwork. I can definitely see in that barrel how the tannins have been sopped out of there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Right now, we are scudding leather, scudding hides. I am also going to do some dovetail cutting. about the size of squirrel hides, but they're not. This actually needs to be rinsed off real quick. It's got a lot of wood chips on it. So what I've taken is my tannic solution, my tannic liqueur is what they call it. And I have poured it back in another pot with a whole bunch more mimosa bark, right? Now that's going to concentrate again. We're going to bring more tannins into it. It's going to make a more concentrated solution. We're going to step that up every time. You can see, I know I don't want to gross anybody out, but you see that kind of like brown, darker brown dermis there. We're gonna scrape that off to kind of reveal that what's under it, so that the tannins in there, the tannins can soak into that part. Yeah, I'm gonna take it a little easy on that large hide until I know you can be real firm on it, because I was taking hair out and that was upsetting me. I didn't want to see any more chunks of hair come out. As I told you, I'm trying to keep the fur on that pelt. Welcome everybody. Welcome all my members. Welcome everybody who's not a member. Do consider becoming a member. Mister's in the house. Almost looks like a stock in the vise. Yeah, it's actually that rail that I made for the bed. It works as a fleshing horse, or whatever they call it, fleshing beam. It's like, kind of, besides the PVC I have down there, it's probably my best possible fleshing beam. I might take y'all outside with me and grab some Bradford pears to throw in that boiling tannin solution, because those Bradford pears are highly tannic. They are very, very astringent. And we're going to take it, ball it up, squeeze it, get all that fluid out of there. Remember, this has already been through a salting process. Yeah, this is losing hair. I might even just pull that hair straight out of there. Wow, look how soft that skin is. Wow, crazy. Yeah, this one might not have hair on it. I can see why they say that's so difficult now. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and on one of these, I'll pull the hair off, and then we'll see how we can do it with hair off. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm gonna let it sit over in that stuff. I think that's places where it was compromised already. But y'all see, we've kind of exposed that whitish flesh now, of the skin, the dermis or whatever you want to call it. I'm not an expert on this. And we're gonna put it back in that tannic bath again, which is weak right now because I'm waiting for my new stuff to get cooked up. Yeah, that hair wants to come. I don't even know if you need to put anything to get that hair out. It seems like it comes out pretty easily. I'm gonna have to try the alum method to keeping the hair on there. This got like a lambskin texture to it. Very thin, very soft. I don't know if it would make a very good knife scabbard. I'm gonna have to see whether I got something else that'll be a thicker leather, maybe fit for a knife scabbard. All right, leather work for now, done. Yeah, these are not regular pears though. I'm gonna show you what they look like. Come with me. Bradford pear tree. This is a Bradford pear tree. Okay, those are Bradford pears. Notice they're not even close to the size of a regular pear. Try to eat. Ew, gross. Ew, yeah. Either way, you know I've been handling deer hide, so I think a few rotten pears is gonna bother me. I'm gonna grab some of these. They're super astringent, so they pucker your mouth when you try to eat them. We're gonna grab a few of those, throw them into the mix. Yeah, good tall trees. This is the East Coast. We love our goodly tall trees. One of the first things said about the U.S. by I believe that was William Strachey, a friend of William Shakespeare, who was on the way to Jamestown, and he said the land is full of goodly tall trees, and then they used the mess out of them, and kind of exploited it. But that's all right. We live and we learn, right, Mr. Strachey? Throw a few of those Bradford pears in there and just see. I'll just maybe mix the color up a little bit. Now that I'm losing the hair on the pelts, I'm going to be a little bit more like, I'm going to be more aggressive with it. Bradford pears are an invasive pear tree. They'll pollinate a pear tree so you can get more pears on your tree if there's a Bradford around, right? But they are an invasive tree and they are very brittle. The wood is useless for woodwork. Um, they break constantly. They're very heavy. In my life, I have cut down so many Bradford pear trees. Every last one of them was a pain in the butt. In many states, they're illegal to plant, and that is smart. All right, Woodshed by Dan says, well, I got to jet out. Y'all have an excellent day, and I mean that. You too, buddy. I mean that. Double tap that screen, y'all, if you haven't done so, and like this video. All right, put this fleshing beam down. Take a slight water break here. Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong to lose fur. Like I got those things. It's been cold too. The bacteria must have worked. I don't know, when I wasn't really paying attention. 1 second. All right. All right, woodwork, ladies and gentlemen. Woodwork. We were working on this single dovetail box, right? And at this point, our pin is closer to being done, but our tail and our pin don't fit just yet. So we got to reduce the size of the pin or increase the size of the tail. So we'll start with increasing the size of the tail. And I will aim this, I will flip this vise around so you guys got a little bit better angle. Well, maybe I will. Those pins are kind of wonky, so this needs to be laid out and everything. Middling my review for this company. All right, and since the mouth of the dovetail, or the, dovetails are essentially trapezoids, the mouth of that is opening this way. I need to just keep that in mind. I don't want to lay it out backwards. And remember, everything here cut by hand, at least on this project here. So I'm not using a bandsaw. There have been some issues with accuracy. We said the mouth was going outward. 75-degree angle is my dovetail angle here. Started from an inch off of each side. Check my protractor. Man, I need my reading glasses, but that looks like 75. We set that 75 on the other side. Sorry guys, can't hear me probably. There we go. I'm going to take our tool here, measuring tool here. I'm going to lay out 1 inch off of that. Now it's a little wonky because that edge is not completely straight. A lot of different ways you can kind of do this. Obviously, the most accurate way is to have a compass or like calipers and bounce, from your spot to the next, especially if you're doing multiple dovetails. Coping saw also. I'm not great with a coping saw. That's all I used when I was little, so I know how to use one, but it's been a while since I used push saws effectively, especially because I don't care for it, so I stick to pull saws now. It's not that I think it's better, I don't have like this Japanophile approach. It's not that I think everything Japanese is better. That's not my approach. It's simply that I think that I like the pull stroke is a more efficient stroke, in my opinion. All right. And because this is, we'll lay this out first. I probably said I needed to widen that other tail, but we'll lay this out and widen the other tail. But you want to cut inside of these lines, essentially on the inside part of these lines. I'm going to use the rip side of this saw. This saw is old and not been great recently. A bunch of ways you can do this too. inside the line, so that'll work. And now from here, you're gonna want to make stop cuts. But there's a couple ways you can do this. You can take a Forstner bit and drill through this if you got a small enough Forstner bit, or you can make multiple cuts, or you can try to chisel it out in one mass. I wouldn't recommend that, you know. Yeah, I like the pull saws better, man. It's just personal preference, you know. I'm not going to say either one is better. I'm not going to pretend I'm the expert that can tell you which one is better. I think it is personal preference. But yeah, there's a lot of physics, like evidence to say that maybe the pull stroke is better. Think about you got a load of something on a tarp. Are you going to try to push the tarp with the load of things on it, or are you going to pull it? I would pull it. All right. Now I might take this and I'm going to, I probably should sharpen tools today. They weren't super sharp yesterday. We may do that in a second. Above the line, stop cut. As many of you know, I recently put new bevels on these chisels, so they actually lack some of the sharpnesses that you all kind of have come to know as my trademark of having these. I think it's like my trademark to have super sharp chisels and do close-ups of that stuff. But I had to, after doing the beds, my chisels and stuff needed new edges. It's been years since they've been, looked into. So looked after, I should say. That's really the. All right, we got stop cuts there. I'm pretty confident in those. It's possible it'll still blow out. Yeah, I taught music, and then a couple of times I taught math in summer school and stuff because I was just good at it. But yeah, I was a music chorus teacher. There you go. That's it. Plywood said, my old boss asked me why I was pulling a chain across the floor. Was your old boss Ebenezer Scrooge? No, he said, because it's easier than pull it than push it. Good answer. Good answer. My old partner asked me why I was pulling a chain across the floor. I told him, Scrooge. That's what I told him. Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer. Stop calling me by my first name. I hate that name. I would hate it too if my name was Ebenezer. Ebenezer. Gotta be biblical, right? Like Aloysius. That's actually not biblical. It's a saint's name. It really doesn't want to hold in there. I'm gonna put those sleeves in here. It'll bite harder. And look what I put, like a dent. I don't want to show y'all. I put a dent in there, but I'm ashamed of it, so I don't want to show it to you. Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, there it is. It helps with the bite a little bit. I'm gonna have to come down the grain. Which means I'm gonna do this here. My only fear here is you can blow out easily when you do that. Come on, man. Hold in there. People mow their lawn here. It is literally November 15th. Your lawn is a 1/4 inch in length. Why do you need to mow your lawn right now? I think it's just like a security thing. Like people just think it does something for them, for the look of their house. It doesn't. It doesn't help the look of your house. It is what it is, bro. Lipstick on a pig. Let it go. Let it go. You don't gotta cut your lawn that short. Sorry, I haven't sang in a while. That's that lack of experience now. Like if you're gonna cut your grass to a 1/4 inch, you need a real mower, like not an REAL mower. You need a real REEL mower. That's what they use on golf courses. A lot of people don't know this. They don't cut greens and fairways at a golf course with a regular lawnmower. I know. I cut greens and fairways at a golf course. Okay, so it's done with a very particular type of expensive mower called a reel mower, which some of you may be familiar with, I'm sure. Okay, I got the blue collar types here. I know somebody will know that. A reel mower doesn't oscillate, so because it's churning like this, it doesn't throw the grass in a cylinder, you know, like it's way more uh, violent to to churn, oscillate, right? A reel spins front to back, like you would see a combine harvester do. Also, they grow particular types of grass at a golf course. Specific types of bent and Bermuda grass that can be very, very short. But people want to cut their grass so short, it doesn't look good, man. If you want to cut it short in the fall. Make sure you got the right type of grass on there. It is November, what, 15th today? We're still cutting our grass? Yeah, no, never, never. And you don't want to let it bolt, but you don't need to cut it like that much. It's ridiculous. Bad for the earth, man. You know, we got this, you're dumping carbons in the air. It's a whole bunch of things you're doing. In the summer, people insist on cutting it weekly. It'll be 100 degrees outside. The air at ground level is going nowhere. So every carbon that's dumped in the air is staying down there. We're all breathing it in. But people insist on cutting their grass when it's not that long. Because God forbid the neighbors or the homeowners association. Now, as homeowners, not much you can do about that, right? But you don't have to cut it to 1/4 of an inch. You'd be surprised. They don't send people out every day. You can probably get away with letting your grass get a little long and then just cut it, you know, cut it at the appropriate time to the appropriate length, which is generally over 2 inches for most of these grass varieties. Oh my gosh. Oh no, I'm going to have to cut it more. Well, you already cut it. That argument is silly. You already cut it once every 3 days. So what do you mean you're going to need to cut it more? Cut it to 3 inches and cut it to 3 inches every 3 days. Then you'll sit on your mower and, you know, be people watching through the neighborhood and look good, you know, like hairy homeowners should. Harry homeowner on his lawnmower, cutting his grass down to 1/4 of an inch again. Uh-oh, trees aren't trimmed. Trees are hanging down over the sidewalk. That's a violation. I'm gonna violate you. I mean, I'm gonna write a violation. I'm not gonna violate you. Don't say that. It's gonna get me canceled. Yeah, actually, tall grass is a wonderful ecosystem. If you have a property and you don't have a homeowners association, please allow some sections of your grass to grow out so that the beetles, which are an essential part of the ecosystem, can reproduce. Those beetles are really, really critical to the circle of life. They feed birds, they feed all kinds of stuff, and the beetles can't really procreate. The ones we want, not the Japanese beetles, but the native beetles, can't really do much when we don't leave any tall grass for them. That's what they do that stuff in. I'm tempted to let the neighbor and his herd of goats come across the street and cut our grass with goats. If I ever talked to him, I'd be like, hey, feel free to send those goats over here. My dogs might bark at them, but you know, that's part of it. No, they won't. I won't let them out. I'll let the goats do their thing. Plenty of grass here to eat. You can eat it as low as you want. You take it down to the dirt for all I care. We'll blame it on the goats. Yeah, here's Mr. Norm Hughes says, I have a very well manicured lawn and flower beds. Well, that's fine. And that's what I did. Norm, you know, I'm not against a nice, well manicured lawn. When I lived with other folks, I did that as a business. I mean, I know how to maintain those. And then I worked at a golf course and I did that all the time, full time. Uh, all landscaping and very, very careful gardening also. I did gardening also. So I was people's gardener, but I was also a landscaper. I have a knowledge of plants and all of that stuff too. Not saying Norm doesn't. Norm's a pretty smart guy. But there's nothing wrong with that. So having flower beds, having a flora in your yard is great. My folks have a beautiful spread with all of these different plants, and they like their edges too. I used to go through multiple lawns and I would shovel the edges. It's little things like that that make your property, though, not cutting the grass multiple times a week. Tell me if I'm wrong about that. And I'm not against people having beautiful manicured spaces. You can actually cut a beautiful manicured lawn with a reel mower. And actually, you know, those push mowers that are unpowered, those are reel mowers. Now, if you have your yard manicured down to multiple flower beds, then you're not cutting very much square footage of grass because all of the other spots are full of flowers and bushes and trees and shrubs and grasses and different things, right? Yeah, 3 inches is great. That's a good height for grass. That's a good height for grass, Norm. Yeah, and you know, you can take it a little shorter in the fall. I'm not going to try to buck the trend of, but Mister is right. It was sold as an area for family to enjoy to increase property value. In the colonial times, a bowling green would have been put in front of a plantation house in the South. They would have had a foreground to the house, and it would often have been referred to as a bowling green. And that would have been a place where obviously lawn bowling was the type of bowling they did back then. But that green was just a foreground to their house. And I don't know exactly how they dealt with that, but I'm sure that the grass was long. Even some of the ones in Petersburg, Virginia, some of the heirloom types of grass they have there are from these bowling greens that people grew in front of their houses, and it served as a visual foreground for them. But there were no mowers back then. Native Americans did dances and stomped the grass down where they were wherever they were going to in their nomadic lifestyle. The grass was stomped into shape. I wonder what the plants looked like back then, because so many invasive plants now, we don't even have a clue what it looked like back in those days. We've had so many invasive plants and animals come here and change the whole ecosystem over the last 400 years, basically. Crop circles. Yeah, there you go. So you put a board on ropes, you stomp on it, right? Me and Mister are not against the yards, but I read you, Mister. I'm the same way about that. I think it's ridiculous what people do. It's insane. And then just think of the sheer number of people doing that and how much carbon that's dumping out. I mean, you just gotta just take it easy in the summer, man. Cut your grass to 3 inches, cut it every 2 weeks or whatever. As long as it's not bolting to seed, you're all right, you know. And I'm not that much of an environmentalist. I just think that you know, there's just a limit. Like, it's just ridiculous. We're trying to be stewards of the world so our children have a decent world, you know. Some stuff that people do is just a little bit unnecessary. But making pretty flower beds and taking care of your yard is not one of them. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm always that type of aesthetic is important for a lot of people. They want to know that where they live is beautiful. You know, I'm all about plants. I wouldn't even like plants if that wasn't the case. I would ignore them. I wonder how my tannic stuff is going. It's staying hot. We're getting closer to the right size here. Let me put this up and take some of this pin down here. Remember, the pin is the male side of a dovetail. The tail is the female. And I'm looking at, let me show you what I'm looking at. I heard that grass cutting was not a thing in the USA until someone saw a picture of England's castle and the lawn. Interesting. Yeah, the first mowers were real mowers operated by human power, obviously. That totally makes sense. But also remember, I told you in colonial times, the wealthy would have had, including George Washington. I grew up right near George Washington's house at Mount Vernon. George Washington had a very large bowling green that ran from, now remember, the side of the plantation, that's the front, is the riverside, not the roadside. So when people go to visit Mount Vernon, what they see as the front of it is not the front. That's the back of the plantation. The front is the side on the Potomac, right? That's the front. So the bowling green would have been a visual way to picture the house, Mount Vernon, from the rear, which was where his friends and guests would enter who were coming by land. And most of the business on Mount Vernon was done on the wharf down on the Potomac, because plantations had to be oriented on the river in order to do business. Now, in the case of George Washington's Mount Vernon, there was a village of down on the Potomac of something like, and I'm putting a number on it, like almost 1,000 enslaved people that worked down on, that lived on the plantation. They had a whole village down on the Potomac. So we're talking about not a house with a few people, a business. People think of a plantation as like a domicile. It's not really, it wasn't really like that. That's not expressing opinions, just what it was, you know. And the more you kind of see them, the more you get the idea these are not normal places. They were these people were like the Bill Gateses of the time, like, and definitely George Washington, like, and then they used human chattel slavery. So obviously I'm not gonna get into that, but we all know how that went. Y'all see that line? Did I show you the line? There we go. Paring it down right now. Paring it down to the point where it can fit nicely into that tail. I'm a little worried about that pelt, man. It kind of blew me that the pelt was it's gonna lose its hair. You know, I'm gonna have to. I know that most people who preserve buckskin. Wes does it said my yard is all shade. I only get moss and weeds. You probably have oak trees and stuff that kills the grass besides the shade, like drops acidic droppings down on the lawn. There is a possibility that you maybe, if you wanted a yard, you put shade seed down and lime to neutralize the acidic oak droppings if there's an oak tree over your yard. But it could just be so shady it can't grow grass. That's kind of lucky. Hostas, there you go. Make a whole yard of hostas. I'm looking at this from the side. It doesn't look straight to me. Like, I'm eyeballing this. And I want it to kind of be straight so that the joint fits tight. From front to back, from where you all are seeing it to back here, right where my thumb is, it's kind of doing this. So what I'm trying to do is straighten that line out. I don't know which side that was. Probably this one, right? Because it's paired to the, maybe the other one, huh? No, neither. Okay, well, that means we got some work to do. It's definitely warming up here today. I don't know if it's doing that anywhere else. Got really cold for a couple days, or pretty cold. Oh, I see. Okay. See that? Going up like this. Let me get rid of that. We need to fix that too, because both have basically got another trapezoid right here for me. So yeah, I need to take this and the chisel. I need to chisel down vertically to take some of that off so I can square that up. And I still see a pencil line, so that's fine. Sorry, stirring my my tannin liqueur there. Hey, let's get me up to that 100 likes. I've been wrestling with my wife's car all morning. Oh no. I'm leaving the leaves down. That's why I call them leaves, right? There was a guy who called me McGillicuddy in the daily. Word? Said Wes? Yeah, I never. Sorry about y'all's predicament. I hate wrestling with cars. Not my favorite activity. People, I've been known to get into a verbal altercation with people that I love over cars when cars are a problem. All right, so we're gonna take that off. I think we got to go. We got to make sure we're. I still see pencil line, right? So I know we're probably okay. That's good. That's gonna do it. I think. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. The problem is it's kind of hard to get straight like that because when you hit downward on the grain, it just takes that amount off the whole way, right? So sometimes when you're trying to do that, I have found that chiseling perpendicular to the grain like this is the best way to get it square, because as you go downward, if you come downward in the grain, it just takes that whole chunk. You know how that is. When you're working wood, working it grain down is really easy. It breaks and cracks easily that way. So like if the top, and I got to look at it again here and see if that actually worked. May have just taken off more material. Yeah, see, so I still see a trapezoidal shape here, but let's try it out. I'm gonna have to learn from these things that I've done way too long. That is very close. Very close. I can almost put it on. I think I'm going to file this pin a little bit on those sides. Oops. Filed my thumb. Summer out. I know why you're in here. Smells like meat. Smells like deer. Out. Out. That's good more even there. Gradual process. Don't try to rush it. Yes, that's it. Cars. Wes said cars trigger dad rage for me too. Same for me, man. I'm just like I become an ugly person when I when I start dealing with tire plugs or you know, little things that you know, they're not going to put me in there to put a new starter in. They're not going to put me in there to like break down a motor, you know, rebuild a motor. But the little stuff I can do, I dropped an oil, like my hands are fat. I was in Heather's car just putting oil in it, right? Because it has like, no, it has some issues. And one of them is that it burns a lot of oil. I was putting oil in. I can't hardly get my hand in there in the under the hood to get the oil top off. I don't know whose hands that's made for, but it's definitely not made for a 6 foot tall man because my hand doesn't even fit in there. And I was trying to get that cap out, dropped it into the motor, so we couldn't do anything until I got it out of there. Yeah, but we got it out though. Yeah, I think that's probably, you know, there's one time I left Heather with my truck and the battery cables disconnected. I came back home. Heather had put new battery cables on the vehicle by herself. Okay, not with the help of someone else. She put new battery cables on. I never met a girl that, well, I mean, I guess I knew girls in auto shop in high school, but Heather didn't take auto shop. She went to school for film. That's a tough gal right there. She got that thing straight. And it looked good too. The job looked good. I need to get a socket set here. I have one. It's just not here. And socket set's kind of an essential tool when you're working on a car. Yeah, you rest assured, Dad's workshop will never do car stuff. Not my wheelhouse, and definitely not my cup of tea. Maybe Schmoke can teach me a few things over the years, and I'll be the better for it. Oh yeah, okay. That sounds lemony though, Wes. I would take that one back. All right, that came from the insurance settlement then, probably. Yeah, I would. Man, don't fix that. Get that back to the place and be like, we're not taking this. You remember I did the chainsaw video. This is a parable because I did the chainsaw video, and one of the comments on my chainsaw video was, "You don't know how to put a new pull start in?" Of course I know how to put a new pull start in. I don't want to do that. It's a brand new friggin' chainsaw, dude. Why am I gonna put a new pull start in a brand new chainsaw? Shit is going back, bro. That's what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna put, oh, you don't know how to. Yes, I do. I'm glad you have the energy to tell me that, and you may have the energy to change the pull start because you didn't do that much today. But the truth is that yes, I can do that, and I'm not going to do it. I'm going to make the company send me a new chainsaw. I shouldn't have had to pull the mess out of it until the thing did that. It's a why should I have to situation, right? Why should you have to fix a car you got 4 days ago, you know? Maybe to get it back to the shop. That's the world we live in, man. They sell us stuff. We have problems with it 4 days later. Yeah, it's just part of life. And I'm just not good at accepting it. Oh, okay. Wes said, "Nah, I did a diagnostic and knew it was there. Plus, the deal I got was worth it. Used car stuff. Is there an electrical system issue in there, man? You like there's a faulty wire or something?" Curious now. Now you got me thinking like that. Oh, we are gonna. Oh, let's see if it's the other one. Oh, that one needs to be worked, Mark, I can tell. This is actually. I can't remember if that's that. Oh, this no, that's not. This is the one. Oh, so there we go. Look at that, guys. All right, so we're just gonna file it a little bit. Oh, that's gonna be, it's gonna be real tight in a good way, right? The thing I'm not against, sandpaper. When you get it down to this critical point where it's almost fitting on there, you're just putting a little too much force on it. Oh yeah. Yeah, when you put two pieces of wood together and join them with joinery, there's a little squeak there. Norm says he likes when it squeaks, and I like that too. A little squeak, never hurt. But I think that was just a smidge too tight. With any of these dovetails, if you put them on too tight, you risk snapping the opposing piece, right? Because it's cut lengthwise. Hey, yeah, we're pretty close to the low side of the battery there. There we go. Now, mallet, I'm almost confident about that one there. I want to just take it off one more time. Obviously, paring the waste away with a chisel here, or the excess away with a chisel, is going to be, you know, a broad brush stroke. So that's going to be maybe too much. And using a file, and there you go. So you see that's.
Just make sure because the mic's off.
Oh, hey. Sorry, guys.
You're doing good. I want you on that.
Thanks. Thanks, bud. I don't see any cracks just yet. Yeah, it cracked. And that's what happens, bro. That's woodwork for you in a nutshell. Right there, see it? Can't force it, man. I should have kept going. All right, so what we got to do is we got to split this open. See if I can do it with muscle. I'm going to maybe butter and glue there, right? I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow. So I had it so close, dude. And it split, but it didn't snap plumb off, but that didn't work out well. All right, well, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna do that. So what I should have done is kept filing, kept going. I didn't do that with the last one, right? So. Splitsville, man, and you heard that. You heard it went in real easy once it split the wood. No problem. No problem at all, right? We're gonna take a two-way trip to Splitsville though, because we're gonna fix it. It's gonna be just as strong. We're just gonna make sure that we don't do that again. Too much experience to treat wood like that. I got too much experience to make dovetails that look like this, to be honest. Let's see which side it is on. It's actually not all the way through either. There it is. That's almost precariously small. I almost want to force it open. promises I made when I haven't had this happen. It's all about patience, man. This is why you don't ever lose patience. I can hardly get glue into there. It's so small. It's enough to ruin the box, though. I have fishing lines somewhere. I'd be fishing around trying to find my fishing line. But welcome, Carrie. Sorry I didn't say hi to Carrie. Welcome, member Carrie, friend of the program. I think I got it in there. Maybe not. I call it buttering it in, kind of like the way like stonemason sometimes has to butter a little mortar onto a wall or whatever they're building. Brick mason sometimes. They butter on the bricks. Heather said hi for me. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not too worried that this can't be clamped back together. Mike said, no worries, man. You can see better than us. I have finished the split if it is going to go clean, and I knew it meant I couldn't 100% bond it back. I think he's talking about this. I think what I need to do is I'm gonna stick with that. I think I got glue in there effectively. Now I'm gonna clamp it like Jed. Generally, you want to kind of look and see like if you buttered in. It's just such a tiny crack, man. What a pain in the butt. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I love y'all. Sorry to Carrie. Carrie, I'll come on a little bit later tomorrow on Friday and stay a little longer so that you guys get some more time. I did come on a little bit later today, but not late. I realize it's still early in the morning for you, so you had a crack there. This is when you get back to doing woodwork again. It's not really like riding a bike. I don't know if you guys know that. It's kind of always difficult, always presents challenges. We got one good joint there that was solid, right? This one's gonna be fine. I should have filed down this dovetail pin more. And apparently, like ash is really strong, but down the grain, if you crack it, like just kind of makes me think of a baseball batter who hits the ball in the wrong part of the bat, which are made of ash. Their bats are made of ash. They crack really easily in that spot. That's the way ash is. It's strong and has good tensile strength, but it has some issues there. BK, welcome. BK, thanks for coming. Thank you to everybody for coming. My screen still says 17 likes, so I hope we have more than that. I'm imagining that we probably do, right? We were at close to 100, right? 106 likes. That's what I'm talking about, folks. I'm going to wrap it up for today. Love y'all. Hey, this is Dad's Workshop. Do pop in. 107. Thank you. Double tap that screen. Like this video. And Carrie, BK, I will be back. I got to work on this video for somebody. But I will be back as usual tomorrow. Appreciate you, Norm. Appreciate all my members. That's why I have this members only chat, so we can all like have a powwow every day and hang out with each other. And appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Do the next right thing. Boom. Y'all have a great day. This is Dad's Workshop out.